So tell me a little bit about what you have here on the table.
Well, at the time of the 9/11, I was working in New York. It's a few blocks away from the World Trade Center. The morning it happened, I was coming up out of the subway tunnel to go to work just as the second plane went in, and we observed all that took place. And during the excavations or the cleanup and everything, I was able to visit the site several times because one of our tunnels had been damaged, and also I had a friend who was working with one of the engineering companies doing the cleanup and everything removal, and he obtained some of the artifacts for me because I used to go to the site and visit every so often. This is just something that we got when I was retired and living in New York, just to remember just a glass figure of the World Trade Center layout the way it was at the time. This is a piece of glass on a window. You can see the thickness of it. That had fallen down and all the debris was on it. He uncovered that. This was a piece of the inside of the elevator floor. It's a piece of the marble. And this is a terrazzo tile that was in the lobbies that the people, when they entered the building and walked on, entered it. And this is the terrazzo flooring. This is a precious thing. It's he had one of the welders burn this out of one of the beams as they were removing all of the steel from the site, and they were taking it to Staten Island, and eventually they would reprocess it. But he had them burn this. You could see the burn from the heat. He had this burned out for me because he knew my connection with the church and religion and so on. And that was a precious thing. So we've kept that and cherished it. It's actually one of the beams from the World Trade Center. The flag, that was given to us the night they took out the last column. It was symbolic of that. And when they took the column up the ramp, after they put it on the truck and everything, everybody followed it up the ramp, and Mayor Bloomberg was at the top of the ramp, and and the Marines that were lining the ramp handed out flags to each of us as we went up the flag. As I said, I mentioned before that I asked for a second flag because one of our members, Pat, at the Manhattan congregation, lost her husband in that World Trade Center accident, and so I gave her one of the flags. So I actually offered her everything, but she said, "I'll take the flag."
So you were there. What do you remember about that morning? About you said you were just getting off one of the trains when it happened?
I just came up at the subway. Actually, the train that I got off on the subway was going to go up, but then he never moved. They realized something was happening up above, so he didn't leave the station that I had got off the train at, because there was only one more stop up to where he goes under the World Trade Center. And when I came up, then we just observed a lot of it. I didn't even try to go to Staten Island. I had a lot of drawings I needed to get approved, and I went down to walk to the ferry, and nothing was moving. And right in the second plane, you could see the flames and the fire from above. And so we went up in our office building, which is mostly all glass, and we were able to observe a lot of it. And then all of a sudden we looked and we saw people running down towards our area, and behind them was all of the debris, the dust, the dirt that was blowing when the building had come down, and all that was following them down. It was all blowing in that direction. So even when I got home, I lived in Brooklyn, South Brooklyn, and we found pieces of paper in South Brooklyn flying through the air. The wind had carried it that far. Goodness. And then about a half hour later, the second tower came down. The biggest story I remembered there about one of the firemen was his father was a fireman, had retired, and he was at the site digging, and it came to the end of the day for him, and he was leaving and everything, and just across from where he was digging, a few feet away, on the other side, they started digging while he was gone, and they found his son. And the amazing thing about it is they put him in the body bag. It was all there. It wasn't in pieces. They found his whole body, which was, brings tears to your eyes.
Yeah.
And when you hear the story about that, with a lot of people, they never found they had to take blood samples or cultures from a lot of family members, and that's the only way they could identify body parts to say that this belonged to this individual. Well, that's how they did with our member. And the odd thing with other member of the church who lost her husband is they called and said they found something. They found his driver's license. They went through it that detail. They were going through the rubble.
Like at the Manhattan Church of Christ that first Sunday. I mean, it was a Tuesday it happened, and then that
Right.
the next time you guys got together.
It was a solemn occasion.
Yeah.
We all they opened up the doors 24 hours a day for people to come in and pray. And a lot of the churches in Manhattan did that. And people they were going to churches to pray and everything. Manhattan was solemn and everything. Of course, we gathered around Pat because she's the one who lost her loved one. And we gathered around her, and it's a stunning effect. You know, you're still, like you say, it's Sunday after Tuesday, but did it really happen? You know, and that's, you know, you realize, and you realize how much you need God, you know, and how quick life could end. And that day it ended for almost 3,000 people, that quick, you know, it's devil's alive and well, I say, out in the world. And so, but you gather more than as family and become closer together. I think we experienced that in Manhattan.
Yeah.